Good afternoon. My name is Anna Phillips, and today I will be teaching on social media and how we can use it for the glory of God and for the spread of His kingdom. And so, today for this teaching, we're going to be looking at one Instagram in particular, a church in Memphis called First Evan. But to start this time off, I just wanted to start with a quote from a book that John Dyer wrote called From the Garden to the City. And Dyer writes, "What I didn't realize at the time was that technology is never neutral because it has a shaping power on us and those around us." And I think this is a great quote because, especially and specifically during this day and age, technology and social media is almost inescapable. We are going to be influenced by something. And so I think it's important to be mindful of one, us as the consumer, of what media and technology are we going to let influence us and fill our brains. And two, as the consumer, or two, as the creator and the curator of media, as the teacher, as the staff person, what are we going to let our students or our congregation influence them? Are we going to produce good media to fill their brains? Or are we going to give them media that won't stick with them? And then they will just find other things to fill their brain that may not be gospel centered, that may not be leading them to holy thoughts. And so I think thinking about both of those things is important. So let's dive in. And to help with this teaching, I asked Meg Burgess, who is a key member of First Advance social media and communication team, just to interview her and ask her questions on her thought process as she goes and through and makes social media posts. But Meg fully controls a student ministry Instagram and parts of the main church Instagram. And she discussed how each different page offers and serves in a different capacity. The main church one is to keep people updated on events and post announcements. But for the student Instagram, it's much more laid back and it's really silly. Meg said she loves to post pictures of the students making silly faces and showing their goofy personalities. And while the student Instagram is still keeping students aware of when events are happening, it's more of a showcase of funny and goofy pictures of the students. But so the main media style that we will be evaluating today is the main Instagram page of First Savannah in Memphis. And so here is a three pictures from the First Savannah social media. And so in the middle, you'll see a picture of the page as a whole, and then on either side, I have pulled two examples of individual posts. And as you can see from the numbers and they're kind of small, but as you can see on the sides, the two Instagram posts, there's little fraction numbers. And so that is to show that there are multiple pictures in a post. And I think that's great to add multiple pictures to a post because Meg said that people just love seeing pictures of themselves, seeing pictures of people they love, enjoying different events. And so I think that is definitely a strength on First Evan's part. In Dyer's chapter on Medium, he wrote about how different technology um, serves a different purpose. And Meg actually mentioned this also in my interview with her. She stated that the purpose of First Evan Instagram page is to keep people aware of the events that are happening. And her exact quote was, "At the end of the day, the goal is to make people aware of events that will present them the gospel and to not form a social media platform." But my suggestion for this particular social media page is to focus on how each individual post contributes to the overall view of the page. So if we look back towards that middle picture of the overall page, you can kind of see that the pictures aren't not really going all together. And there's some inconsistencies. And so something that I've seen that other people do on their social media pages almost create a pattern with their post. And so here is an example from a page that I found. And so if you look on the left, you'll see that it almost looks like a checkerboard, which I think is really cool. You can tell they spent a lot of time working on that. And then on the right, we see First Advance Instagram. And it's kind of splotchy. We can see these blocks of purple and pink and blue. And then mixed in with actual pictures. And so I think what it really comes down to is, do you have the time or space to think about this with your job? Do you have the space to think about the Instagram page specifically, or do you need to put it to the side? Are you more focused on making sure the Instagram page is up with all the trends, or are you focused on the events at hand that will minister to the gospel first and foremost? I think if you have time to do something like a checkerboard, then that's great. But if it's you're giving too much time to it, then I think First Evan is doing a great job really on their post, by not forming this huge social media platform. And so overall, I think that First Evan does a great job of clearly stating events, but while also appealing to the eye. Um, so